Welcome to another edition of Grandpa Dougo's slideshow. In this episode, we look at the Melbourne Topsides. Now, I know we're always going on about when it rains, no drains, and that's fair enough. But people just don't go on about how dangerous topside stuff is. At least with drains, when it rains, no drains is a good bit of advice. Stuff can still happen, but it's sort of controlled. You don't go in drains when there's rain around, and that makes them a bit safer. Topside, you're going on a perfect day. Nothing's wrong. You're walking around, you're being careful, and bang, you fall through a floor. Or you step on in a puddle that has a live wire touching it, and you touch a bar and whatever. This stuff happens. Or you can try rooftopping and stuff like that, and you just one slip and you fall. It's dangerous. So, and some of these places that I'm going to be talking about were pretty dangerous and are pretty dangerous. So keep that in mind. I was never big into taking photos in topside stuff. Other people tend to do it for the Il Drano Zen and that. As you can see here, there's much better photographers around me. I'm not sure who took that photo, but it's pretty cool. Topside stuff involves climbing, as you can see here, lots of climbing. Being on top of buildings is part of topside stuff. The whole thing, there's a lot involved around it. Even the signs. Signs are pretty cool. You don't really get that many in tunnels and cavities and all that. Abandoned buildings, for me anyway, the signs are part of it. So I'll post a few of them. I don't have a huge collection of them either. I think maybe we should get everyone to submit photos of their signs and we should make a compilation video out of it. Topside, I love topside. I've probably done more topside stuff than most people, only because I've been doing it for so long and I do a lot of it, but it's not my favourite thing. Obviously the underground, cavities, drains, tunnels in general. I like the big ass, power stations, prisons, hospitals. I'm not that into smaller stuff. This is just, I don't know, just to show you some interesting locations that we've done over the years, and also to maybe give you some ideas. That's one thing that I'm finding out about these slide shows, is that people are like getting ideas of things to look for. So without further ado, here we go. First, the Abbotsford Brewery, also known as the Collingwood Brewery. We had a big expo there after the Clannies one year before. We used to have the after Clannies party. I think this photo's Kanish and myself up in the tower. It was so cool. It was really old school. You can see there. It was you'd expect to see Norman Bates's mother in the rocking chair up there. It was a pretty cool spot. ABC Alstonwick was a pretty cool location. When we did the ABC Arts thing with Tim Stone, I'm pretty sure I was like one of the last people to go in there and use it, so I got to see it. It's still got electricity and it still had a lot of things in, and it was a pretty cool spot, and it's pretty much gone now. APM, good thing about APM, well, Cave Clan, we were exploring it years before it became abandoned. There was a section of it was abandoned, so we had some good experiences there, some funny experiences. The Maori security guard on the trike giving us shit a few times. But yeah, it was a great location, and eventually, security went through the roof because explorers were all over the place. A bit out of Melbourne, I'm not doing a regional one, but Arundel, I think that's what it's called, Arundel, whatever. Dirge did some work there, and the security guard said that she could show some people through, and 28 of us rocked up in 7 cars, and he was like, I wasn't expecting this many, but we got a really good tour. Not the same for me, getting permission to go into place. Brickworks were good when they all shut down, and they just left us with lots of places to explore. This is the Box Hill Brickworks, which were a lot of fun, although the neighbours used to call the police. Here's a photo of the Triple J guys in the Bulleen driving, I'm pretty sure. This is a very rare photo. I'm not sure who took this, but you can see Gilligan on the left, and it's a TV crew. It's in the abattoirs at Burnley. These got demolished when they built the Burnley tunnel, so it's sort of right near the Burnley end of the tunnel, and it was really popular with graffiti, so I'm sure there's a lot of photos of the Burnley abattoirs. This TV crew, they were doing gunshots, and as Gilligan and the others left, they could see police coming in from different entrances because the TV crew didn't tell the police or didn't tell anyone that they were going to be shooting blanks. And as Gilligan and the others were leaving, there was a couple of groups doing pieces in the abattoir, and they warned them, cops are coming, and they took off. This is a Carlton brewery. Yeah, we only got in there once, and I think they ended up demolishing it. The big yellow thing, we've spoken about that before. The Chevron nightclub was a really cool location, especially if you used to go there having a few drinks. And it also had the nursing quarters building next door to it, and it was pretty cool. It had some weird stuff in it. I wish I had a videoed in there. There's underneath the dance floor was a old stone swimming pool. So if you pop the manhole in a dance floor, there's a swimming pool underneath it. Even the nursing quarters, you go into their cupboard and it'd have a hidden door that goes into the next room. It's probably for when it was a motel back in the day. Instead of just having an adjoining door, they had them in the walk-in robes, which was, it was weird. But anyway, we had a lot of fun in there. I've got a video of actually, I did shoot a video, but only of the nightclub area. That's on my channel somewhere. Crow's Nest. It'd be interesting to see how much that's changed in that photo. Crow's Nest was the observation tower for the Docklands, for boats and that. But when they built the Balti Bridge, the bridge got in the way, blocked its view, so they built another one. Then we did a bit of infiltration and got into the new Crow's Nest replacement. This photo was taken the night that we did it. It was good, but obviously can't be explored now because it's fully active. East Melbourne Brewery is a nice one. It's that big brick wall along Victoria Street, Victoria Parade, whatever it is, in East Melbourne. It's all apartments and shops and things like that now. So it's not really doable, but it was a great location. I think I went in there maybe up 2 or 3 times. These photos are all taken with Gilligan. Oh, there you go, 97. Exchanges, this is the only real abandoned one that I remember. It was on Little Burke Street, just up from Myers. Good thing about it was it had a basement tunnel that led into the telecom tunnels, but it was bricked up. We were, I think, off the record, we were contemplating removing a few bricks and having our own way in, putting a fake grill in. But unfortunately, some urban explorers got in there and got up on the roof and used it to steal stuff from nearby city buildings. So that was disappointing, and they ended up locking the location down. So sucked. Fairfield Infectious Disease Hospital. This was the morgue. Gilligan's got his gigantic head on the wood block that so many people that have died of infectious disease have had their head on. So give him credit for being the model in these photos, because I don't think I'd want to do it. Footscray silos, that's what I call these. The Altona bats or rats or whatever have been there. It was a nice little silo. Silos are all pretty much the same, those little suburban ones. Footscray Cinema, not sure, I think this is a Bathory photo. Not really Melbourne, the Geelong Cement Works. They were quite a good location. I think most of them are gone. There might be 1 or 2 little bits left. This is another location in Geelong, just a silo type thingy. Everyone sees it's not even fenced off on whatever that is, Shannon Drive or whatever. I thought this was one from the Cement Works again, so I'm not really sure what that one is. I've actually got a Wallace and Gromit shirt on there. Larundel Children's Psychiatric Hospital. I've got a video of that. It's quite popular. It's quite a popular location with ghost hunters and things like that. It's trash now. It was in pretty good nick when we did it, but since then it's been burnt, partially demolished, vandalised. But if you want to see what it used to look like, just check out my Melbourne Topside playlist. That's it. Melbourne Power Station was a great location. For a little while there, we basically had 2 city blocks to ourselves. It had electricity, fans, showers, a theatrette. And we had it for a couple of years too. It was before Urbex had gone so crazy. And then another location stuffed up by a Cave Clan associate having a big graffiti party in there and the place getting trashed. That was really sad too. But it was cool. It was a really cool location. So good. Eventually got sold to the Russians, and then they sold it. And I think they sold it for next to nothing because it was riddled with asbestos. And then they sold it, and now it's all apartments just across from Southern Cross. This school, Northcote Tech, was the school of the first 5 members of the Cave Clan. So the 3 founding members, Bubble Nose and Bathory as well. So, yeah, that's where we came from, Northcote Tech. The Nilex clock, we were exploring years before it was abandoned. We used to catch a lift up to the Nilex clock. It was the Paul Cully song, Leaps and Bounds, that got us interested in it. We did get busted up there once by the police. I've told that story a few times. It's out there if you want to find it. Yeah, it was a good location, but it was an infiltration job back then. There was like workers. Sometimes trucks would come and everything while you were on the job. PANCH stood for Preston and Northcote Community Hospital. We had so much fun in there. I don't think I was ever sober in there. I know it's not a very professional thing to say or good advice for explorers. There you go, got a drink in my hand there. Sitting on the roof having a few drinks and waiting for security. A couple of times we triggered the alarm and we just thought, we'll see what happens. We just thought, see how long they take to get here, who comes. So yeah, we were drunk, so we just sat on the roof and watched them. They came about an hour later, checked the gate, carded the gate and just kept going. The blue lights were flashing and everything on the building, like the alarm sensor had gone off. They ignored it. Pentridge was a great location. There's no point me telling much about it. It's all out there, but it's one of the few spots. I don't believe in ghosts. You know, I believe in all the normal stuff like flat Earth. The moon landing never happened. The September 11 planes were projected onto the Twin Towers and blah, blah, blah. I believe all that, but until I see a ghost, I won't believe it. But Pentridge is very spooky. Pivot was a really good, big location. It wasn't available to explore for that long. Some people loved it, compared it to Melbourne Power Station, but I just found it quite big and, I wouldn't say boring, but for its size, you know. But it was great for a short while. Portsea, there are abandoned buildings in Portsea. There's Prowler walking through one. This refinery was quite fun. It was like a little suburb there was actually streets and light poles and it was all abandoned. The RMIT building in Swanston Street, getting on the roof, which was involved infiltration, but that was a bit of fun. Also, parts of it have been renovated. There's a shot of Ed and I in one of the classrooms while it's been renovated. Bit more rooftoping. Russell Street Cop Shop, which looks quite eerie in that photo actually. A lot of fun happened in Russell Street Cop Shop. A lot of cool, some pretty amazing stories that I probably can't even tell here. That's up on top of the tower, on top of Russell Street. That used to be how you get in. Squeeze your hand through the gate and flick a lock. But yeah, we didn't spend a lot of time there pretending to wee. So mature. Malmesbury Railway Station. Used to be able to climb through and come out in the station. It's been blocked off now. And there was also old trains and that lying around there. Wharf 22, which I'm pretty sure, I mean, for a while there, it was like a nightclub sort of thing. That used to be abandoned. You can see it, but that does not look like that now. That's the Morwell Arcade, which was abandoned for quite a while. It was right next to the Morwell Village Cinema, which I don't think I've posted a photo of here, but I mentioned it recently in a Morwell video I shot. This is a couple of shots from Jumbuck, the school camp. I've done a video on this, so look out for it if you want to see more. That's my old dog, Death Ray Eyes, the drain dog, aka Chloe. That's Churchill Cigar, which the main reason I posted this, you can't get in it anymore, but if you look at the photos on the right, you could actually get in it. Clay Mud House, which is the only one I've ever explored. It's actually starting to just fall apart because clay mud houses need to be kept in good condition and this one isn't. So if you see it nowadays, it's that window on the right where Ed's standing in front of is basically fallen out right down to the ground. You can just walk in there, which is a bit sad. This is the Delta Tower. I've got a video of it out there, so have a look for it. It's the tallest structure in the Southern Hemisphere, and a base jumper jumped off it and died. And then they put security on it, and they couldn't afford the security, so they demolished it, which was pretty sad. Just sort of chuck in a random country farmhouse, abandoned. Most interesting thing with that one, you can see it in the corner there, was that a lot of the stuff was left in there. It was definitely abandoned. It had all these dog badges and trophies for awards. It's just weird seeing how people just up and leave or die or whatever, and everything just stays as it was. This was a pretty good location, and we only just got in there not long before they demolished it. It was the Morwell gasification plant, just across from the briquette factory and the Morwell power station. Actually, if you look at the briquette factory now, it's got one of those, what do you call them? that they transfer the coal on. There's one that goes right up to the edge near the road. That used to go across the road into the gasification plant. Had some fun there. That was a good one. Yeah, abandoned tram, 300 kilometres from Melbourne. Hazelwood. Hazelwood was a lot of fun. I did some work in there, but I also got in a couple of times to explore it, which was fun. But, you can Google Hazelwood and find out heaps of stuff about it. Well, that blue water's like you think, oh, cool, it's so pretty, but it's not. It's really bad for you. Like nothing grows in it. Before they demolished it, they actually fixed the Hazelwood sign up, which was good. I went out and got some photos one morning. I need to do a Hazelwood video, like a proper one. I've only got photos, but I should do something with them all. This is Flirt at a hospital in Phillip Island. This is the Imperial Hotel, which is now totally demolished. This was in Bairnsdale. That was a nice little location. These things are all the way along I'm guessing they're all over Victoria, but these ones were all the way along the train line from at least Warragul. The Warragul one's gone, actually. And there's about 6 or 7 of them. Some of them are still used, like locked up properly. It's to do with when there used to be electric trains running to Ralgan, I think. Don't think they went all the way to Sale. And they had one of these between each station sort of thing. Courthouse, still abandoned. I don't think anyone's getting into it yet. Moe Pub, this has just been demolished in 2025. A few photos there. I recently did a video of the Presentation College in Moe. That's this one. Have a look for it. I quite like the way it came out. The Briquette Factory, I'm yet to do a video on this, but I'm definitely going to do one. Yeah, one of my favourite locations, and a local location which was good. Well, when I say local, I could drive there in like 25 minutes, so that was good. I have some good stories to tell about that place, but I'll save it for the video. Roof topping on the Briquette Factory. That's from the Briquette Factory looking down into the open cut. That's the old way we used to get in. It's all gone now. And there was a Morwell power station, which is like literally 20 metres from the Briquette Factory. It was to power the Briquette Factory. I'm definitely going to do a Briquette Factory video and tell some stories. That's Morwell River Prison, which was eventually became a school camp before it was totally abandoned. Darren Hinch was locked up in there, and a couple of other celebrities got locked up in there. It was just a prison camp sort of thing, like bush thing. They could pretty much walk away if they wanted to. Morwell Reception Centre with Dirge. I had a bit of an incident, but I've told the story before, and yeah, I'm just trying to keep this down to a 20 minutes-ish, so got a couple of stories about that. Nilex in Sale, which I wouldn't mention this, except it's really secure now, and I think they're actually renovating it. By now they probably have. That 14 months ago they were putting new fences up and everything, so I'd say by now it's back in action. It was a nice little location. This one's a sad one. It's old school out near Traff, been burnt to the ground just last Christmas. I've got a video on that. Have a look. The name escapes me at the moment. Sale Cop Shop. This has been Fort Knoxed, and I'd say it looked like it was preparing to be demolished. It's in prime location in Sale, right on the lake. The best part was the jails. The rest of it was trashed. The old Sale jail was awesome. It's gone now. You can still see this if you go to the Sale police station. You still see that gate. They've left the wall around the outside, and there's a few shots from inside it. And the cells. Got a couple of stories to tell about this one, I did one. I did one for the Sale jail too. So if you're interested in that, have a look at my Gippsland playlist. Another abandoned school, just in Gippsland, but I don't really want it to get trashed, so I'm not going to mention where it is. But it was a nice location. It is a nice location. A lot of people know where this boat is. I explored it with Ed. That night I drove home, edited the video, started a YouTube channel, and loaded the video. I was so wrapped. I thought it was such a good explore. And yeah, but anyway, that was what made me start a YouTube channel. These things are just I think they're just silos, but they're lying down on the ground. Had a bit of fun checking them out with my dog, with Chloe, Death Ray Eyes. St Paul's in New Haven, Phillip Island. Awesome location, but yeah, it's all been gutted and that now, and they're doing it up. So, but I've got 2 videos on it if you want to have a look. They'll be in my Gippsland playlist. Something that's sort of interesting to do. You see a couple of bits and pieces. It's just a good day out. It's probably not your traditional urban exploration, but driving around Thompson Dam, you're allowed to drive on this track. You just see a lot of interesting stuff. And you know, say no more. Trestle bridges, I've got a video which I really liked. There's a shot from Mott's drone. Gippsland's got heaps of trestle bridges, and I planned Cave Clan Expo. I think we went out there like last year, 2024. I'd always wanted to plan a proper expo, and yeah, I think it turned out really well. Good turnout, and they stayed the night at Lake Tyers Caravan Park. Yeah, I won't comment on that one. A Wonthaggi mine, a Wonthaggi rifle range, which is, I went and had a look at it recently, and it's, yeah, there's no real signs, everything's gone. Some random thing near Yallourn Power Station, Yallourn silos in the background. That's the weir for Lake Narrackan, I think, but I guess that's more infiltration, there's cameras all over it. We spoke before about some signs. Here's a few signs. That one that I didn't comment on a minute ago, it's a crime church photo, and as much as I bagged the shit out of crime church, that was 18 months, 2 years that they were really, or it was longer than that, but that I followed what was happening. It was like the worst time in Cave Clan. It's like tenfold compared to the next worst thing. So many people left the group, and even people that stayed were just staying so they could keep exploring stuff with the meth. And I think the statistic that proves the point is, I'm not talking about getting caught getting out of a manhole of a drain. They got caught more times in 18 months than the Cave Clan had been caught in 30 years. They had like 7 or 8 like Topside busts, Alcoa and the Briquette Factory, the City Loop. They had that big one where they were getting out of City Tunnel. It was on the news and all that. So it was a shit time, but you've got to give them credit, you know. That's one thing is Cave Clan was always a light-hearted social thing. These guys were all about keys. They could get scanned keys, EAC keys or whatever you call them, easy access cards. They could get them reproduce. They got keys to everything. They used to do this thing which is pretty cool. Like on Friday nights they'd go into active buildings and motels in the city, and they would get into their swimming pool, which is normally up the top of the building, and they'd have a few drinks. And you know, I have no idea how they don't get hassled by the cameras and all that. But yeah, as far as exploring goes, the meth didn't help. That's probably why they got busted so much, because they were sort of being competitive, trying to make the Cave Clan bigger and better than ever, and they were planning all these cool expos, but then I just don't think they didn't know how to deal with having, 30 people in a location that should only have, maximum 5. But yeah, anyway, that photo that I ignored, they rang me that night because I was actually down where that was happening, and I didn't go. I was probably a bit cautious about doing it. You can probably tell what it is in the photos. But anyway, I think that's it. I think I'm going to leave. Yeah, I think that's it. Thanks for watching. I hope these stories are interesting enough. Next week, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a Sydney one, which will be just some random, it'll be like drains, topside cavities. It'll be a bit of everything. Okay. Peace, love and mung beans.